Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, in collaboration with CRAN, Essentials IT and NIPAM, recently hosted a Cybersecurity Awareness Public Seminar. Now, the seminar was set to educate and raise awareness about cybersecurity and provide valuable insights into the latest trends and technologies to counter cyber threats. Now, to give us insight on what transpired at the seminar is Deputy Director for Information Technology Infrastructure Development at MICT, that is Fillemon Johannes. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening and thank you for having me.
I think it's just fair that we just dive into, the seminar. In fact, maybe for you just to give us an insight, and whole overview of what the whole seminar is about.
Okay, thank you very much. The seminar was organized in collaboration with NIPAM. The presenters were from CRAN, MICT and Salt Essential, as you mentioned. The program started with CRAN practically just speaking about and around the establishment of the set. They gave an overview of the trends on cybersecurity attacks on the global and on the local front, and then eventually some of the functions and activities that the set currently conducts, and then some tools and techniques they're actually using to detect and sometimes just analyze malwares.
Right. And what are some of the issues of concern that were raised, during this seminar? I know you did mention cyber attacks there. Yeah. I think cybercrime should be one of them. Maybe just list some others that were also highlighted at this awareness here.
Okay, perhaps before I get into the major issues that were highlighted, I forgot to mention that the ministerial presentation actually gave an overview of what the cybersecurity strategy entails, and the awareness raising plan is all about, the background of where we come from, how we constituted the multi-stakeholders committee that actually drafted the document that we're talking about. Right. And then eventually, the Salt Essential presentation was more into the cybersecurity awareness creation, because it spoke about the trends of cybersecurity attacks, where they get the victims and then eventually equip them with knowledge on how to protect themselves when they are on the online platforms. Now moving on to the major issues that trended, or queries that trended, like all other awareness sessions that we conducted. The main or the trending queries are always around the absence of the law. What do we do in the absence of the law? And then the law enforcement officers or the security cluster also has issues that they're handling, cases being reported to them at the police stations, but then there's eventually no law that kind of capacitates them to criminalize these acts. With the exception of one provision under general offenses in the Communications Act, that's section 117, that generalizes actually offenses that are committed by use of either electronic means, creation of content, or otherwise with the intention to harm or to actually annoy somebody with this content.
And how popular are these issues? You did mention that the law enforcement as well, also comes into the picture when it comes to this. But how popular are they? Do we, especially not only in Windhoek alone, but the country at large?
Yeah, it's quite popular because now almost everything is happening on the cyberspace. We know the issue of TikTok, for example, where people would use your image or your voice, but then with somebody else actually doing things. This is a trending thing on the cyberspace. Then we have pictures that are trending with different stories, sometimes with the aim of defamation of character. And then we also have identity theft, and eventually people would commit certain things on the cyberspace under pretense that it's Fillemon Johannes, but then it's eventually not him.
And of course, we are looking at, of course, having this awareness, event having put up, some initiatives in place that will help promote cybersecurity, especially in communities in Namibia. What are some of the initiatives that actually were set up to promote cybersecurity in the communities?
The initiatives are part of the strategy. The strategy has two components. One is other stuff related to the laws and legislation frameworks that we need, but then there is a standing component on awareness creation, where we identified our target audience, we identified the mediums and the modes of communicating this awareness. We want to aggressively perhaps use the media platforms such as this one, the radio, and even just to have some printed materials and distribute to our targeted audience.
Right.
Yes.
All right. And we understand that the government also has prioritized the establishment of cyber response team and cyber hygiene policies to combat, information, security breaches, for instance. Just kindly give us more information on that, yeah.
Yes, the establishment of the Cybersecurity Incident Response Team is provided for in the draft bill, the cybercrime bill, which provides for the establishment of the Cybersecurity Incident Response and also creating offenses for any act that's committed on the cyberspace. Now, this incident response team would definitely be the platform or the national structure that will coordinate cyber attacks or communicate information related to reported cyber attacks or encountered or perhaps detected. It will perhaps also be a platform, a structure that will give advisory on cybersecurity loopholes that might have been detected through penetration tests or otherwise just through picked up, cybersecurity or cybercrime is borderless. Other countries may advise that we're picking up these and it's coming from IP addresses in the country, so then this structure would then coordinate that. In the strategy, the provision for the establishment of the set is provided for in the pillar number 2 that speaks about establishing national capacity to capacity and capabilities to actually address cybersecurity issues. Under that, you have the establishment of the set, that's a cybersecurity incident response, and then also other initiatives like that calls on institutions of higher learning to actually develop curricula that are responsive to the trending issues to the trending developments on cybersecurity.
That's right. Now, of course, like we mentioned in our intro here, we did mention some of the collaborators that are on that were part of the Awareness Public some seminar, and some of them are SALT Essentials IT, CRAN, and NIPAM as well. So just tell us what role they usually what the importance of them being part of this awareness seminar is, being of course collaborating with the Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology.
Okay, thank you. If I can start with CRAN, for example, CRAN is a state organ that actually is an implementer of some ICT policies and regulation or other regulatory frameworks in the space of ICT. That includes telecommunication, broadcasting, radios, and all other related. Now, cybersecurity being in the space of ICT, and also the main attack or the main incident occurs on the infrastructure that it's either for telecommunication or just ICT structures in an organization. So CRAN is now just one of the state organ that was entrusted or identified and entrusted to be the implementer of cybersecurity incident response team. Now, SALT, at the time of the development of the strategy, during our consultative meetings, public consultative meetings, SALT came on board to say, we see government is trying to do this on the space of cybersecurity. We are an IT company that has the capability and capacity to actually support the government into rolling out the awareness. The policies can be good, the strategy can be well written and well crafted, but then the awareness creation, when nobody knows about it, then it will be collecting dust on the desks of the offices.
Fillemon Johannes, thank you so much for making the time to talk to us, and we wish you and the MICT, we want to thank you in fact for doing such a stellar job, and we wish you all the best, John.
Thank you very much.
That was Fillemon Johannes from the MICT's office, specifically the Deputy Director for Information Technology Infrastructure Development at MICT.